Once you've finally received your approved work permit, there will be a few conditions that will be indicated on the work permit. Some of them are very generic, and most of them are important information that you have to read and make sure you abide by. So some conditions that would be written directly on your work permit may include the type of work you can do. So whatever the position you applied for, whatever that is, it will specifically state on the work permit. Of course, if you've received an open work permit, it will indicate any, which means you can work at any position in Canada. Also, the work permit will indicate the employer you can work for. And this is very important because should you ever decide to switch employers, that work permit will not apply to the new prospective employer. Most likely, the new prospective employer will have to go through the same process that the first employer did to get a closed work permit for the prospective employer. Meaning you cannot swap and say, you know what, I don't like this position anymore, I don't like my employer, I'm going to work with another company. That's illegal. You have to adhere to whatever the work permit states. Of course, if you have an open work permit, it will indicate any as well. And at that point, you can switch at any time. So it doesn't restrict you. But most closed work permits will specifically state the employer that you can work for. Also, where you can work will be indicated on your work permit, so the location. Sometimes what happens is, as you're working with the employer may require you to go off-site and visit another location. If it's not indicated on your specific work permit, you may not do this. If you know that the employer may require you to travel to multiple locations, this is something you have to mention at the time of submitting the application. And the officer that's going to issue you the permit will indicate multiple locations, or it will specify you can work at location X and you can work at location Y. Otherwise, you have to adhere to whatever the work permit states. The other important thing is how long you can work is specified in the work permit as well. Now, this applies to the open work permit as well as closed work permits. It will say that the work permit is valid from this date to this date. Now, the extensions really vary. Most applications, most work permits can be extended, but the process really varies. Varies if you're eligible for an open work permit, varies if it's a labor market opinion involved, and things like this. But the length of the work permit is also indicated. If your work permit is coming to an expiry soon, contact us immediately because processing times, unfortunately, are quite extensive. And you want to make sure that you have a valid work permit so you can continue working. I hope that clarifies in regards to what conditions are stated in a work permit. And if this applies to you, call us if you have any questions. Thank you, and until next time.